I got to tell you, Steve, 2 weeks in, and I know it's just 1/8 of the season. With all due respect to Carolina being the other 2-0 team in the NFC, the Falcons have got to be the team to beat in this conference.
I think so, because what you just mentioned, their defense is better, and that's true. Okay, definitely better on defense, and that was their Achilles heel last year, right? And their offense didn't come out of the gate fast against the Bears. It was a little sloppy. Remember, we did a little Warner's corner, and Kurt just ripped on him a little bit, like he does.
Yes, he does.
But you know what? It just takes time with a new play caller, a new coordinator, and Steve Sarkisian. And it looks like, hey, they're starting to get it. And Julio Jones is involved, and they got 2 great running backs. And Matty Ice is Matty Ice, and he's going to be an MVP candidate again. And maybe so, because Dallas showed vulnerability, and obviously the Packers did, and Seattle certainly did. So maybe right now the team to beat in the NFC is the Falcons again.
So let's hit those other 2 right now. I opened the show by saying that the Giants don't just own the blueprint anymore on how to beat the Cowboys. And Green Bay's blueprint last year was, let's just stick a red-hot quarterback in Dallas and hit him in the mouth. I think Denver showed a blueprint on how to beat the.
Right.
So you tell me. I mean, how did Dallas look as poorly as they did yesterday?
So Denver, of course, is a good football team, right? I mean, we've known they're good on defense, but with the way they're built on defense, Rich, they've got 3 cover guys that are probably better than anybody else's 3 cover guys in the league, with Aqib Talib and Chris Harris and Bradley Roby. Okay. Mm-hmm. And what they did is they played man-to-man, nice tight man-to-man coverage. They're not they can run with anybody. Des, I want to say, had 16 targets or something like that, and he had a few catches, but then they stayed base with their front 7 against the run. And they loaded up the box with their base front and played 3 corners and 1 safety in the game quite a bit of the time. And so that's a real interest. Not every team can do that.
So who are the other teams that can do that in the NFL, you think?
Gosh, I'm trying to think of who might have some good. Nobody has 3 great corners like that. But if you have 2 good corners, you still can load the box up and play man-to-man, right? You can play your nickel defense, but then put your safeties closer to the box. Ezekiel Elliott got really frustrated, right? And there was nowhere to go. And so they stopped the run with numbers, and they stopped and slowed down the pass with tight man-to-man coverage. It was unbelievable. And then, of course, your quarterback's got to play well. Trevor Siemian did. He won that job, and we made an issue out of it, the competition with Paxton Lynch. He won that job hands down.
No, there's no doubt about it, Steve. Well, I mean, in LT, LaDainian on Game Day Prime last night with Dion said that Elliott quit on the Cowboys, flat out quit on the Cowboys, and then there was that one instance where there was an interception where he stood with his hands on his hips and watched other teammates try to track the play down. And folks think that Jason Garrett should discipline Elliott for that. How would you handle the situation, Steve?
Yeah, that's an interesting scenario too, because I think it shows his immaturity, where he's so used to having 100 yards rushing in a game or whatever, 80 yards plus for 15 out of 17 games is unheard of, and then all of a sudden it doesn't go your way and you pout or you show disapproval or whatever that is. I think it's a maturity thing, and I think he's got to learn that it's not going to always go his way.
Well, how would you handle it as a coach? I mean, what would you do?
Yeah, I'd probably sit him down. I'd have to see it. I heard about it. I haven't seen it and all that, but or saw his comments or his demeanor in the locker room. Sometimes guys get verbal, and sometimes they get animated, and sometimes they just get quiet. I'd probably sit him down and say, listen, it's not going to always be easy. You're going to have tough games, and you just got to kind of fight through it and be a good teammate and go through these ups and downs. If you want to have a heck of a career, you're going to get a little bit of everything. So just deal with it, and he will. He will. But this was an eye-opener for the kid. It was like, oh, my God, it's not as easy as maybe I thought it was going to be all the time.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on radio stations across the country and audience.
Isn't it amazing you can download an app with your thumbprint? You should download our app with your thumbprint.